Good morning. Today is Tuesday, January the 11th, our first committee of the whole meeting for the new year. So everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome back. It's still a great day to be in Macon-Bibb County. It's also a great day to be in Georgia today because of them Georgia Bulldogs. So I was going to have a moment of silence for the Roll Tears Roll, but I do realize I've shared those same tears at least 4 times in the last several years, so I don't want to rub it in. But certainly proud of the Bulldogs. I know everybody's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning and ready to go to work. So we're going to go ahead and move right into the meeting. We got several things on the agenda today, beginning with the approval of the minutes. First item is the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting from December the 14th, 2021. Can I get a motion for approval? Motion by Commissioner Wynn, second by Commissioner Wilder. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. We're going to move on to announcements. I don't see any new announcements today, so we'll move right into elections for Mayor Pro Tem. At this time, we have the election of Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll entertain nominations from the floor. Commissioner, excuse me? I'm sorry, you got to be recognized, sir. I've got a Valerie Wynn. Do you have
I don't.
Okay. Commissioner Howell?
Nominate Seth Clark.
Okay. Got a nomination for current Mayor Pro Tem Seth Clark. Any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, we'll go ahead and take a vote on that. We have a motion for Seth Clark to be named Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Congratulations, Commissioner Clark. We're going to go ahead and move on to election of a third member of Committee on Committees. That will be myself as well as Mayor Pro Tem Clark. The first item of business that we have is selecting the third member. Commissioner Clark, would you like to make a recommendation?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Bronson.
Okay. We have a motion to nominate Commissioner Bronson. I'll second that motion. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 That motion carries. Only the people on the Committee on Committees will vote. So welcome again, Commissioner Bronson, to the Committee on Committees. Our only order of business today is to decide the makeup of the committees and whether we continue the committee of the whole or do something different. We have any recommendations from either one of the members? Commissioner Clark?
I move that we continue to operate on the committee of the whole structure as we have in the previous year.
Okay. We have a motion. Remember, all those only people who are making comments at this time are voting as those on the committee of the whole. So I'm sorry, committee on committee, my bad. We do have a motion by Commissioner Clark. I'll make a second on that. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor of returning to the committee of the whole as the only committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. That motion carries, and we'll move back to the commission of the whole. Well, I guess while we're already on this committee on committee, I do want to, I passed out some committee meeting schedules that I would like to do for this year. I made a copy for everyone here, and we'll go over those just briefly. First of all, you got your copy, Commissioner Tillman? Okay. The charter requires that we have one meeting per month. The ordinance passed by commissioners in previous years has been that we have 2 meetings of the month, with the first meeting being the first Tuesday at 6 o'clock and the second meeting being the third Tuesday at 6 o'clock. As you can tell, we do have both of those meetings on here for the first and third. What we had recommended is on the first Tuesday that we have a pre-commission meeting at 4 o'clock, followed by a commission meeting at 6 o'clock. Items will be introduced, voted on, and approved at pre-commission meeting, referred to committee of a whole that night to vote on at the committee meeting. Items needing further discussion or additional information referred to the committee meeting on the second Tuesday of the month. For example, if we have a pre-commission meeting and we have mostly appointments, which will be our intention to have mostly appointments, and items like grants that require no matching that we generally all agree on, we will put those on for the calendar that night. If it's something that needs more time, we would just simply move that to the second Tuesday the following week as a committee of the whole, and it will take as much time as it needs to. It will not come back up into the third Tuesday. That third Tuesday would be a night meeting for ratification of those items. So this is the schedule that we're looking at doing this year. Commissioner Tillman?
Two things, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to add to the agenda that we can discuss crime, Macon-Bibb crime. And the second thing is comments on the meeting twice a month. If you're finished, I can wait to address that, or I can go ahead and address it now.
Yeah, you can go ahead and address that second right now.
I think we ought to continue to meet as we've been meeting with the committee of the whole. The public sometimes feel that they're not getting enough access and information to us as it is. And then to limit meetings just further puts the public at bay as far as information. So I think the opportunity, I have no issue in meeting. The committee structure that has been changed over due last year that had been in place for at least 67 years, according to my research, has been changed. And so I don't know why all of a sudden now we want to start limiting our meeting. I mean, we are just like military. We are veterans and soldiers 24 hours a day. We are commissioners 24 hours a day, and so we're now limiting our meeting process. We're not a very small municipality. We have 160,000 plus folks here. And now the advantage, true enough, is they can get information from social media and television and media outlets and so forth. But I think the public want to engage and see and communicate with their commissioners more so than once or twice a month. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Tillman. Just want to make sure you understand this is not twice a month. This is 3 times. It's actually 4 meetings, and it'll be the same exact time we meet. We're just going to do it in 3 days. Purpose of that is we've been very efficient on getting things done this past year, in my opinion. We are open up that 4th Tuesday for work sessions when we go to schedule work sessions for items that need to do, including a few that we may have this year for updates from different departments that we're going to schedule. We're also in an age now where previously you were not airing the committee meetings at all. Committee of the whole meetings or any committee meetings were not aired. We've been doing that. So we've been more open, more transparent, more readily available for people to watch us on those committee meetings. And sometimes those committee meetings run rather long, several hours. But I don't think it's taking any time away from anything. We're still putting the same amount of work in. We're just doing it in 3 days as opposed to doing it in 4 days and have all of our staff, everybody come out after night when they work the full day on an extra weekend. I don't think it's something that we need to continue to do. I think the work's still going to get done, and I think it's something that we try, and if it's not successful, that's something we can look back and do again. Any other comments? Okay. We're going to move out of committee on committees and go back to the regular meeting to begin our items on the agenda today. No, sir, I'm not adding anything on crime today to the agenda. It's something, if you want to have some discussion on it later on, we'll be happy to put it on there, but I'm not sure what talking about crime today is. If we're going to talk about crime, we're going to need to have the sheriff here, and he's certainly not here right now. We could be here hours and hours to talk about crime. So we're going to move on to item A, which is a resolution to appoint Shane Edwards, interim chief, if you don't mind coming up to the podium, as the fire chief of Macon-Bibb County. That's sponsored by myself, and I know Ms. Wynn has to be a sponsor as well as Mr. Bronson. Okay. Anybody wants to be a sponsor, please let Ms. Ross know. We'll be happy to include you. On the screen, you can see all the tremendous work that Chief Edwards has done over his career and for Macon-Bibb County. Certainly, we had over 30 applicants, some in the system, some outside the system. We thoroughly reviewed all those. We looked at the good work that he's done while he's been here in Macon-Bibb County, in particular this last year while I've been mayor. And my recommendation is going to be to appoint him as the permanent chief. And would you, young ladies and gentlemen, like to make that recommendation? Got a motion by Commissioner Wynn, a second by Commissioner Bronson. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. That motion carries, and we'll send that to the agenda on Tuesday for final vote. Thank you for being here today. We have several items on the agenda for new alcohol beverage licenses. These could be new or transfer ownership. Commissioners had requested on numerous occasions to make sure that we give all the additional information that you need to make an informed decision. We've done so. So at each part of the agenda, you'll see several items included, including what we have done personally to identify, to investigate each and every one of these cases. The first item we have today is new alcohol beverage license for Dua Fish Tank, Macon. As you can see there on the picture, that's right there by Atrium Navicent, next to Jimmy John's. It's located at 781 Spring Street, Macon, Georgia. The recommended action here is legal recommends approval. Can I get a motion to approve? Got a motion by Commissioner Wynn. Can we get a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any question? Seeing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item B is a new alcohol beverage license for Holly Supermarket, LLC, located at 3309 Holly Road, Lizella, Georgia. It has met all the legal requirements. This is a transfer of ownership, sole proprietorship, and planning and zoning. All those things have been approved for malt package to go and wine package to go since it's in business. Can we get a motion to approve? Got a motion by Commissioner Jones. Can we get a second? Second by Commissioner Tillman. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Commissioner Wilder.
Yeah, did you go tour this one? That picture's definitely not the location.
Oh, did it have the Lizelle market up there? I'm sorry, I didn't look at the picture. I did talk to the sheriff. I know you have sent some information to him, and it meets all the statutory and legal requirements. And this is, of course, we know where it's at.
Did they apply like a food mart or a gas station? What was those stipulations?
They applied as a gas station, Commissioner.
Yeah. Any further questions, Commissioner Wilder?
We've had a lot of calls about the location. I just want to bring that up.
Certainly been some challenges out there, and the sheriff is well aware of that, so we expect some further developments. Okay. And regarding this license, it meets all the statutory requirements, and the recommended action is for approval. We have a motion and second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, that's a nay? Yes, sir. That motion carries. Item C is a new alcohol beverage license for J&G, located at 3004, J&G 3004 LLC, Food Mart, located at 3004 Deborah Ann Drive, that's in Macon, Georgia. This particular item, if you can't tell by the picture, is right next door to my church. That's my church right there in the background. It does meet all the statutory, the distance of the legal requirements on Houston Road between Victory Baptist Church and the next church there is Mikado, so you'll know where it's at, just down the road from one of my favorite barbecue spots. So, excuse me? It meets all the statutory and legal requirements. And can we get a motion to approve? Got a motion by Commissioner Wynn. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Howell. It's in his district. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Commissioner Tillman.
Question to the attorney. The one that was on Mercer University near CBS, that one, was that denied because, I mean, it was near a church also. Is that because we...
That was a liquor store, Commissioner Tillman.
Right. So the question is, because they'd been there for a while, and I received a lot of calls about it, is it because there was new ownership why it changed over? Because
it was a liquor store, and it came up for re-inspection, and there was a church moved in next door to that, and under state law, there's a measurement distance required that they no longer met. They're not grandfathered in the state law.
Yeah, because and I think that's something that we probably all need to talk about and get a true understanding on, because just like this particular location, a freestanding business that's been in existence for years, and we're saying because they had new ownership or a church moved in, then it makes these folks not eligible. Now, I would tell y'all that that's not what's considered a church is, in the God's eyes, any two people showing up, and it's in the old Blockbusters building. And so, I think we're going to get some issues or concerns that we just need to make sure those folks understand, because there are some true language barriers. And I will tell you, a law enforcement officer called me about it who knows those folks. And so that's why I was asking about the difference. So on this one that we're just doing a renewal
That's
for the
beer,
license
beer
for beer
and
and
wine
wine.
only, and you don't have the same requirements for measurement and distance of the state.
Well, some folks consider beer and wine alcohol as well, but I got you. I got you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. We do have a process for the liquor.
Look, State Patrol would lock you up for beer and wine, alcohol, or whatever.
That's true.
Okay.
So we do have a motion and second. No further discussion on this particular item. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. And we'll ask the attorneys to re-educate commissioners and the mayor on that particular statute. It's something we can't waive. And unfortunately, there's no grandfather clause in the state of Georgia under that statute. So literally every liquor store in Macon, if a church opened up next door, they would be out of business. So nothing we can do about it. We're going to move on to item D, which is a new alcohol beverage license for Grant's Lounge located at 576 Poplar Street, Macon, Georgia. And it meets all the legal and statutory requirements, and the legal recommends approval. Can we get a motion to approve? A motion by Commissioner Tillman. Can we get a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Watkins.
I'm just following up on that statutory requirement. You saying that's a state law or a local?
State. Liquor store, state, yes.
It's a state thing, not local. Okay.
Yeah, there's no grandfather clause.
That's correct. The state law does not have a grandfather clause.
Thank you.
Well, the distance requirement, if the church moves after the liquor store has been there, is that a state rule or a local rule? I got confused.
That's a state law,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Of course, in this particular case, just to make sure we're all on the same page, if the church later moves next year, there won't be a liquor store anymore. There's a moratorium, so they would not be able to get one until we reach the plateau of the number of people and residents we have in Macon-Bibb County. Okay, Mr. Clark, program.
Did you visit Grant's Lounge in your research?
I have visited Grant's Lounge and can confirm it does sell alcohol.
Joking aside, I just wanted to thank the Moonhanger Group for the restoration of Grant's Lounge. If anybody has not been in there, it is beautifully done, and it is well kept to honor Mr. Grant, and it's just a really neat thing that was saved by Moonhanger and the Grant family, and so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Commissioner Wynn?
Well, Mayor Pro Tem, if you make it too nice, it's not going to be like what it used to be, the Grants Lounge that everybody used to.
All right, we do have a motion and second. If there's no further questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item E is a new alcohol beverage license for Marathon 610, located at 610 Shirley Drive, Macon, Georgia. Meets all statutory and legal requirements. Wait a minute.
And
Does
Chair,
not.
I do have an update.
Yeah, we have an update
this.
on that. Thank you. I'm sorry.
And I'm Assistant County Attorney Frank Howard. We received a lease yesterday and a sublease. The lease is between the owner of the building, Jet 2021 LLC, and RYCA Ventures LLC, as well as a sublease in which the applicant, Marathon 610 LLC, and Elvis Gilani are the sublessees to the sublessor Rika Ventures LLC. And with this updated documentation, they meet legal requirements, and my recommendation is changed to recommend approval.
Okay. You heard the recommendation for Attorney Howard. We have a motion to accept. Motion by Commissioner Lucas. We get a second. Second by Commissioner Wynn. We have a motion and a second. And Commissioner Lucas, that's in your district, correct? That's your district? Okay. Got a motion and a second. Any further questions?
What I'd like to do is, from time to time, have us look at the map of where we have approved all of these locations, and so that we can see where this stuff is available to our citizens, or imposing on our citizens, whichever way your thinking is on it. But I think it would be a good idea for us to revisit that map. It's a map, and it
Yeah, we've
has-
GIS mapped all those. Yes, ma'am.
so that we can see that we're flooded.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item 6 is appointments, reappointments to authorities, boards, and committees. We will have a lot coming to you in the very near future because at the beginning of the year, we have a lot of expirations. And I will be getting with each of you to follow up on some recommendations that I would like to make. The first one is a resolution reappointing Joyce Humphrey to serve as member on the Doctrinal MLK Board. Ms. Humphrey's not here today, I don't think. Been doing a good job there. She's been there for a substantial amount of time. We received numerous requests from that board asking for her reappointment. Commissioner Lucas, did you have something to add?
The only other thing is, all of you remember that Ms. Humphrey served for, I believe she says 35 years with Macon, City of Macon, and then Macon-Bibb. And she has been very, very loyal to the ML King Commission. She's one of the ones who attends all of the activities, or the majority of the activities. Recently participated in the wreath laying ceremony out in Rosa Parks Square. So she's a very fine member, and she's anxious to continue serving.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. This time I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Bronson. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Tillman? Watkins? Commissioner Watkins? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of reappointing Joyce Humphrey, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Going to move on to acceptance of grants, and we have several of those items on here for acceptance of the grants. We have a couple people here prepared to answer any questions you may have regarding those. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and begin with item 7A. That's a resolution authorizing the acceptance of the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council Coronavirus Emergency Solutions Funding, that's a long name, for CESF. Allocation award for federal fiscal year 2022 in an amount of $72,962, with local match requirements have been waived by the grant cycle in the Macon Judicial District Attorney's Office. Ms. Jennifer Knowles, do you mind coming to the bench? It's not your grant? I'm sorry.
This is not my grant. This
Okay.
is for the DA's office.
Well, it's for the DA's office, okay. But you can answer any questions about these grants in particular, if they have any questions?
For the Superior Court judges, yes.
Okay, all right. That is my motion. Can I get a second? So I got a second by Commissioner Bronson. Any question regarding this item? Did I hear a mumble over here? Commissioner Wynn?
Button pushed. This is just for this year, 2022.
That's correct.
Is that will it be possible that it will be brought up again next year? Is that a possibility? It mentions coronavirus emergency fund, so I'm assuming it's just this year we're talking about.
Right, it's just for this calendar year.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about the possibility of future grants. The DA would have to let you know about that. I can say that there's been a 20% reduction on the federal level of VOCA funding, and so it is just to replace that 20% reduction. It's a supplement. It's not anything else.
I'm glad the match was waived too, so I always approve those when they're not matched. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Wynn. We do have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Going to move on to item B, which is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of the Judicial Council of Georgia Rescue Plan Act funding grant in amount of $977,026 with no local match awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit. That is my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Bronson. Any question regarding this item? Seeing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Thank you. Item C is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a community development block grant award for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in the amount of $2,318,898 with $993,814 local match to be used to upgrade the Middle Georgia Community Food Bank facility. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Commissioners, as you recall, this is the grant that we had a long discussion from before that Ms. Moore presented. Her and her staff worked on this extremely hard. We came back to you because we needed to have a resolution to actually apply for the grant, and now this is actually accepting that grant, of which we set aside our initial money like a 3-to-1 match. This is our 25% match, and they'll do the rest. So that is my motion. Can I get a second? I have that again. Any discussion regarding this item? Commissioner Carp?
I just wanted to thank Ms. Moore for your work on this and your team, and I'd also like to be added as a sponsor.
Commissioner Watkins?
Is great work. Is there a second part of it? 'Cause I remember last time it was like you say, a 1 to 3. It seemed more like 1 to 2.
I think last time we were trying to determine, we were gonna put up a certain percentage of that amount, and we didn't know how much we were gonna get awarded. So if we got awarded $4 million, we were gonna put up maybe $1 million. If we got $2 million, we put up our percentage of that, $500,000. So this is actually the final amount awarded on the grant, and this is our contribution from that amount, slightly under $1 million that we had approved in earlier funds. Okay.
So the $4 million didn't quite pan.
Right.
Effective. No.
Yeah.
I yield.
Yeah, it affects us. We get about $6,000, I think, left out of the $1 million that y'all agreed to spend back into the fund. Commissioner Wynn, did you have a question?
Ms. Moore, too, for her hard work on this. I know you took a lot for you to do that. And also, be added as a sponsor for this.
Sure.
please.
I think Commissioner Wynn and maybe Commissioner Bronson wants to be added as a sponsor. Commissioner Lucas?
Yeah, I'd also like to be added as a co-sponsor on this. And I wanted to, someone refresh my memory on, is there a figure on the numbers of families that are where you have members who, especially children who go to bed hungry in Macon-Bibb? Does anybody have those? I know you, yeah.
I know it's a rather large number. It's too much,
Yeah.
and Ms. Moore may have that. It was in the previous resolution that we passed, all those documentations, but
I could look it up, but it is a kind of a stunning number of over 100,000 families that the Middle Georgia Food Bank services beyond our county lines who are food insecure. And so this grant will help expand the footprint of the building, make it easier for volunteers to come in, allow for space for them to distribute more food.
Yeah, thank you. I just want people to know when we're discussing items like this, and it just seems like it's this huge amount of money that we're allocating, it's justified, and even more will be justified because we are a community that has a lot of issues. We have a lot of hunger. Many children, there are organizations that make provisions for the times that children are out of school to get them some food packets for that time. And it's not lazy people. It is folks who are in a situation that they just can't pull themselves out of. And I think in a country where we throw away millions and millions of pounds of food and pay farmers to do that, I think we certainly can take that food and provide it to families that need to eat. I think that's just being a human being. So I wanted that number just to kind of focus on the need, and that in helping these food banks. And I hope that our food bank continues with the food allocations where they set up in a particular location, because I remember the one on Shirling Drive last year. The cars were lined up all the way through the parking lot and down Shirling Drive. So there is a need, and people aren't just coming to get this stuff just for any the reason is that this feeds their families.
Also, just add to you, to make you know that we have put the application available on the website for the $500,000 that you all approved to give to nonprofits to help circulate the food. So a lot of times people will go out and maybe a church or a nonprofit that says we will buy the food from food bank and distribute it in local neighborhoods. And so go on the Macon-Bibb website and you'll see that application's live so that we can continue the cycle of getting the food out.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Thank you, Ms. Lucas. Mayor Pro Tem Clark.
Yeah, I have that number, Ms. Lucas. It's there are 9,750 food insecure children in Bibb, kids that go to bed hungry every night, according to Feeding America. It's a 2017 study. And the annual food budget shortfall for Macon-Bibb County was $16,658,000. So your point is well articulated.
He's my analyst.
Yeah,
And
and
thank you, Ms. Moore, for your work.
And we certainly know that's a 2017 study, and since then, we've had this thing called a pandemic, so I'm sure that those numbers have gone up. Commissioner Bronson?
Just out of curiosity, how many, any other counties dip into this? I know there was a question one time before. Any other counties outside of just us that
Not
dip into
contributing
this?
to this, there may be accessing some of their own funds. This is because we're centrally located, we're the hub for this food bank, and this is for a capital improvement to expand the capacity to help all of Middle Georgia. So appreciate that comment.
Cool.
We do have a motion and second. There's no further discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. That motion carries. Will be sent to consent agenda. Item D is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of the Airport Rescue Grant Program Award with the Georgia Department of Transportation in the amount of, that's not $32, it's $32,000 with no local match to be used for grounds repair and maintenance and building repairs and maintenance at the Macon Downtown Airport. It's a no match grant for the airport. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Howell. Any questions concerning this grant? Seeing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item E is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Macon-Bibb County EOC, granting to the EOC an Emergency Solutions Grant, ESG, an amount of $57,666 for the provision of rapid rehousing services. I've got Ms. Wanzina Jackson here to make some comments about that. If you'll let us know just a little bit about that is. I know we have a similar amount on the very next item, and then we'll take a motion and second after that and ask additional questions. So, Ms. Jackson, if you don't mind giving us just a basis for these next two items.
These are funds that are received from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. They are Emergency Solutions Grant funds, so they are grants. These are for homeless individuals that are in need of rapid rehousing. As far as our community, this is an annual allocation that we receive. And just to give you a little bit more information as far as this particular agency, they have been working in different avenues as far as working with other community organizations, as far as referrals and things of that nature to actually house individuals that are homeless in this particular area.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. This time I'll entertain a motion and second, and then we'll move on for any further questions before we vote. Can I get a motion? Motion to approve, Commissioner Tillman. Can we get a second? Commissioner Clark. Further discussions and questions from Ms. Jackson. Commissioner Wynn.
Do you work with the Brookdale Resource Center?
We actually have Mr. Williams, Carlton Williams, who is works with Macon-Bibb EOC. They do actually do that, but I'll let him speak to that if you would like to have more information.
I would.
Yes, ma'am, we do. We're partner with them and communicate with them every day. We get referrals from them directly, and then we work with the clients to place them in housing.
You do that at Brookdale?
We do. We do it between, let's say, virtual communication, electronic communication, and just basic referrals. And once they're referred to us, then we do what we need to do in order to get them housed. We have a housing coordinator on site, and that person works with them.
Can you give me an idea of how many you've helped?
I sure can.
Okay, good. Just happen to have that paper to pull out.
Let's see here. For the rapid rehousing for last year, we did a total of 28 families, and of that, 42 persons were housed, And that's just out of the ESG grant that you just mentioned.
Okay.
We also have, in addition to that, a rapid rehousing program that we get directly from HUD. And with that program, we've housed over 110 families, but that budget is a lot larger.
Okay. Have those people remained in the housing you've set, arranged?
I'll say about 50% up to a year. Maybe about 70% within the first 6 months.
Okay.
But they'll usually move on. And if we see where they're struggling, we refer them to Section 8.
Okay, so there's follow-up involved in that if they need additional
30,
follow-up.
60, 90, whenever they need it. They call us all the time.
Say some move on because they just move on.
Yes, they just
Okay.
move on because they move on.
Thank you for
Or
your-
they'll get a better job or something and feel like they can afford.
Well, I thank you
more
for your
housing.
work with them, and I'm sure they thank you too.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Commissioner Watkins?
How you doing, sir?
Hey,
I was trying to think of the right way to maybe. Is there a current? And thank you for the work with the, I guess, approximately 150-ish families over last year. Is there any way that y'all track waiting list or time it takes to place? Is there?
yes, sir, we do, because we're also the lead agency for the coordinated entry system, which is the system that's used to, that does all the assessments for anybody that come through and get services. And we do maintain a waiting list.
Give me a little. How does that look?
I looked yesterday, not this morning. I think we had 180 individuals on the waiting list. But you got to remember, cell phone numbers change every day. Sometimes we have to wait on the clients to recontact us in order to serve them.
If I don't know if a person was on the waiting list, or what's the usual, I guess, time from contact?
We try to move them within 30 days.
30 days. So.
But now we are in the middle of a pandemic, so that's taking a little longer. Housing is not as available as before. Our rental rates have gone sky high, so we are struggling. It is a challenge, but we're doing the best we can.
How do you create more housing?
Just by networking and letting the landlords know that there are incentives like double security deposits, first month, last month, and the fact that we're going to be there to support the clients.
So the 180 currently on, is there ever a point where the waiting list is at zero? Or
I've been doing this 20 years, no.
so for like person 180 right now, you think you'll
Right.
get to them within the next, or how does that?
And then we see repeaters. You know, they may be stable for a year, lose their employment, their life changes, another baby, might have a separation in the relationship, and then they cycle through again. So
I guess right now the total number of houses available to rapid rehousers, is that a finite number?
I do not have a number on that. That varies from day to day.
But I guess it's a finite number. Sometimes you're full and that's why you have to wait.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
Or they don't meet the qualifications that the landlords are setting for the clients.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
Sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Watkins.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wayne, do you have a follow-up?
Just one more brief follow-up. While they're waiting, where are they waiting? while they're on a waiting list?
Usually they're at the warming station
Okay.
or they're at the Salvation Army, and often we put them in hotels.
Okay. So
We
they're-
do get funding for that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Any other questions? At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve. I do have a motion and a second already? I'm sorry, good. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. We're going to move on to the next item, which is similar. This is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with the Macon-Bibb County EOC, granting to the EOC an emergency solutions grant in the amount of $57,666 for the provision of homelessness prevention services. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Bronson. Ms. Jackson, if you'll give us just the difference between this and the previous one we voted on.
So for this particular one, this is actually services for those individuals who are currently housed but have received an eviction notice, so they're in the process of being evicted. That what we're trying to do is to try to keep as many people in the housing that they currently are in. So with this particular program, individuals can come, they can get utility assistance, they can also get rental assistance as far as this particular program to keep them where they're currently located. And this is also through the Department of Housing and Urban Development through their Emergency Solutions Grant funds.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing no questions, we do have a motion and second. Mr. Watkins, you have a question? Mr. Watkins.
Is there like a ceiling or maximum amount each individual or family could receive, or?
What normally happens is that we determine, there is a calculation that's used by the Department of Housing and Urban Development that they provide to us, where you calculate the fair market rent as far as your area and whether they are at rent reasonableness. It also goes up to 6 months to a year of assistance. There's also certain regulations as to how far you can actually go back. So the ceiling does come in based upon that actual calculation.
Is rent reasonable here according to the calculation that you were referring?
It really varies. It varies according to the individual because it's calculated based upon that the fair market rate for our area, but also the size of that particular unit and actually how much they're actually paying for that unit.
What'd you say that
So
resource
it's gonna
was?
vary. I'm sorry.
Resource again? Could you say that resource again?
Yes, it's actually the fair market rent table. And with our fair market rent table, if you go to HUD.gov, and I can actually email that information to you, that for every community that receives community development block grant funds, emergency solutions grant funds, or home funds on the federal level, there is a table that says, according to that community, how much fair market rent should be. And then there's also a rent reasonable calculation table that will show you how to actually calculate whether that person is paying reasonable rent.
Cool. The number of folks that this, I guess, grant would assist, and do we have any indication on how many foreclosures are on file in our court system?
We do not currently have information as far as foreclosures, but for this particular one, it would be for rental. So this is for only those individuals that are rental type situations.
Evictions, I'm sorry.
Correct, that are being evicted from a rental type of situation, so it would not be for foreclosure.
But the same holds true, we don't know the eviction number?
Not at this particular time. One thing that I can say is that as a result of the national moratorium, that there have been delays in eviction, so they're really now just coming up on the table in the last few months that people have actually been in eviction status but has not processed through. So there's no way to really know until they actually go through the court system.
Outside of this 57,000, we have other funds that assist in eviction assistance?
Yes, there will be another application that's coming up next. That's Family Advancement that also provides homeless prevention assistance. There's also funds that are currently out there that are helping for homeless prevention that are through the state treasury, so through the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. All that information is on the website that talks about that information. There's also additional funds for COVID relief that actually deal with homeless prevention as well.
So we have a pretty large sum to assist with homeless prevention. How does one, I guess, access? There's an application online, or?
What happens is that it depends upon which program you're going through for. For the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, they do have an application online, but there is also intake that is done locally through some of the nonprofits that do provide homeless prevention resources. So they actually do that application. They can also utilize homeless prevention that we receive on the federal level as far as the Emergency Solutions Grant. There's also, through the coordinated entry system, that you can be referred either to Macon-Bibb EOC, Salvation Army, or Family Advancement if you need services. And we've also been advertising through the Macon Black pages. We've sent information to the court system. Legal Aid has information on the program that we've provided, and then we've also done some advertising through the Telegraph as well.
Thank you.
And it's on the website.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Commissioner Lucas?
On the same note, I'm interested in the coordination or lack thereof between these programs that can assist people and the civil court it's my understanding that there's been an increase in the in civil court as far as people being put out of their apartments. Is there any coordination? What does civil magistrates court, or does anybody know whether they have a function that would refer people to people who are about to be evicted, that they could refer?
I'm not totally sure as to how they actually go about doing that, but Mr. Williams and those have worked
Because
with
there are a large number of people who are being evicted.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Judge Pamela White Covert is also on our board of directors.
Okay.
And so we deal with them daily as well. They do referrals all the time. So once they realize that a client cannot pay and they're facing eviction, they give them information that would redirect them to our office.
Okay. Is that collaboration successful?
Lately, not as successful as before because the landlords have gotten fed up by not being paid for a long period of time, and most of them just want possession of their property. They don't even want the rental payment. So that's what we're faced with now. And they're evicting people for other reasons other than non-payment of rent.
Thank you, Mr. Luker. Commissioner Wynn?
Yes, sir, thank you. And Ms. Jackson, or Mr. Williamson, either one, you mentioned Salvation Army as someone you coordinate with on homelessness, that referrals can go through them or come through them. But I think of two other agencies that just pop up in my mind, and that's Loaves and Fishes and Daybreak. Do they not? I think they also refer people for assistance on homelessness. Is that correct?
Yes, they can also refer. Anyone can actually refer agencies for assistance, but the agencies that I mentioned actually have funds available to provide services.
Well, the other ones, the two I mentioned, don't. I thought they had funds too.
They do not receive funds from us as far as those types of
Well, not from
services
you,
are
but
concerned.
from donated funds, perhaps. Do
Now,
they?
they may have funds as far as donated funds that do other types of things and other types of services as far as their agency. But for these particular ones, as far as rehousing and everything else, those are the agencies that actually receive funds. And then in two instances, Family Advancement as well as Macon-Bibb EOC, they also have access to the state program as well.
I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this, but I know we've got a significant homeless population out there, some of which don't want your assistance to find places to live. But for those that do, I appreciate what you're doing, and both of you, for keeping that. But I would love to see more coordination between the nonprofits we have out there that are doing the same and similar things. It's kind of overlapping.
And I do understand that. With the Homeless Coalition, we do talk about the different agencies that are providing different services, and then as a part of that, they do coordinate from time to time as far as, hey, I've got this family that needs this particular assistance. Who can actually help this family? So just because they may not fit for this particular program, there may be other programs that are out there, and they do coordinate with each other to try to help and find services for those individuals that may be coming through their agencies.
Do you perhaps oversee that coordination?
No, we do not oversee that particular coordination.
Could you have coordination between those agencies and try to get people together and put funds together and volunteers together?
Actually, for that particular organization, it is a coalition of different nonprofits, and they do a very good job as far as the different programs that they do, as well as the different things that they do as far as the outreach for our community and when they come together. Some of them have other federal funds that they actually receive. Some of them do not. Now, what we do as far as the coordinated entry piece is that we do work with those organizations that receive those funds. That some of them receive funds from the Department of Community Affairs, as well as you're correct that they have foundation funds and everything else too.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tillman.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to send kudos to Mr. Williams. Commissioners, if y'all want to know something, you notice how he's just a straight shooter. He don't sugarcoat it. He's got his information. He's going to share it, and he tells you the truth. all the time, and I appreciate you. You've been around a long time, and it's a lot of folks working in these organizations, and a lot of them are at the helm, and you're one, sir, that probably need to be at the helm of one. People often complain all the time about our homeless, and wherever you go, wherever city you go, you're gonna have homelessness. And I was in Atlanta yesterday, and I just cannot imagine our community here. We think that we have a homeless issue, and we do some, but man, driving on the interstate and getting off those ramps and seeing homeless folks and all this stuff is unbelievable to me up in Atlanta. And we do not have those issues. I cannot imagine somebody getting off an interstate and seeing all those tents and mattresses and things. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So we appreciate our Brookdale Warming Center. We appreciate all of those folks that continue to help our homeless population, because God says the poor will always be amongst us, and we just have to do what we can. And we thank this leadership for the homeless and the Brookdale Warming Center. We thank Daybreak. We thank Loaves and Fishes, and we thank you, Mr. Williams, your department, everybody that's trying to help our homeless. Because if you go around some of these other cities, you think Macon has an issue, just ride through Atlanta and downtown. And that's not a slight on their city. That's a great city, but it's unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. We do have a motion and second. If there's no further questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you for that. It'll be sent to consent agenda. Ms. Jackson, we got 2 more items I think that you're going to be taking care of, so we'll go ahead and move on those items, but I did want to briefly interject to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy New Year and happy birthday, and thank you for all that you do. So we're going to move on to item G, which is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Family Advancement Ministries, granting the Emergency Solutions ESG grant in an amount of $36,400 for Family Advancement Ministries for the provision of homelessness prevention services. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Bronson. Ms. Jackson, if you want to make, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. If you want to tell us a little bit more information about that, I know we talked about that in the same sense. I assume it's the same situation here, it's just with a nonprofit.
It is. It is. It's the same type of funds. It's just being done through Family Advancement Ministries. From time to time, what we do find is that different agencies, they do have different clientele, and this agency applied to us based upon what they were seeing as far as their agency and the increase of individuals needing assistance.
Thank you. Going to move on to item H, which is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with the Salvation Army, granting to the Salvation Army Emergency Solutions Grant, ESGCV, in the amount of $101,000 in the provision of emergency shelter services. That is my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Lucas. Same thing here before we take a vote. Can you tell me a little bit about this particular $101,000 there? First of all, the folks that come before you, they actually have to go through the application process.
Yes.
They apply for this. So
Yes.
there's other folks that have not applied, therefore we're not talking about them today.
Correct.
But if they did apply for it and went through all the steps necessary and were awarded the money, they could also receive some of this ESE grant money that you have.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about this $101,000 before we vote.
For the Salvation Army, the funds that these particular ones are emergency solution grant funds. They're a little bit different because they are a part of coronavirus funds, wherein it is to prepare for, in response to, or prevent coronavirus. So with this particular amount of money, they will be doing some things as far as case management is concerned, and then the data entry, because they are required to input that information as to who they're serving into the homeless information system. The other part is the actual, they have equipment that they will be receiving as well that will be bedding, some other things as far as dividers and things of that nature to actually help as far as that particular facility is concerned.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Based on that new information, we do have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions from Ms. Jackson? Seeing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries unanimously. Will be sent to the consent agenda. Ms. Jackson, I think that's the last item that you have on the agenda. We appreciate you being here, and again, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We have next item is item I, which is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of Georgia DOT grant for costs associated with the perimeter fencing project at the Macon Downtown Airport in the total amount of $508,773 with no local match. Can I get a motion to approve? A motion by Commissioner Jones. We get a second. Second by Commissioner Tillman. We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions regarding this? We have Ms. Moore here prepared to answer any questions that you may have. Seeing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. The next item is contracts for implementation or renewal. Item A is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Middle Georgia Outdoor Lighting to perform lighting installation services at the Carolyn Creighton Park Fields in the amount of $149,665 to be paid from the 2018 SPLOST Fund Recreation Central City Park property line item. Mr. Bronson would like to make that motion. We get a second. Second by Ms. Nguyen. Thank you for that. We want to make sure that we get those lights and those fields done, not only for people to use them here in Macon, but our plan is to, we design those in such a way where we can host some large tournaments like we used to do with Flag City, the Flag City tournament, as well as youth sporting events. So it can become a something that may be profitable for our community to bring in outside visitors. So we purposely design those to meet the requirements for the distance requirements and the number of fields that these organizations that host these events need. We're looking forward to getting that project up and running and being prepared this year to start hosting tournaments. And we have several hundred teams that have inquired through an organization about coming and playing in those tournaments. So we're very excited about that. We appreciate your support, and certainly this could not happen without the people at home sitting that voted for this tax that we had, the 1 cent penny sales tax that basically created this amount of funds that we can use for this project. So we do have a motion and second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. We have another item on the agenda, which is item 9. This is a rehabilitated historic property tax credit. I do see Mr. Ethiel Garlington here today, so he may be answering some questions that you have. First of all, this is a resolution requesting that the local legislative delegation introduce and support legislation to extend the state income tax credit program for rehabilitated historic property currently expiring at the end of 2022. As you know, that is sponsored by myself as well as Mayor Pro Tem Clark, Commissioner Valerie Wynn, Commissioner Mallory Jones. Before we get a motion in second, I'd like for Mr. Garlington to come forward, and Mr. Clark, if you want to give us some information and the basis for this legislation.
Sure, I'll be real brief because Ethiel's the expert on this, but Historic Macon, its leadership and its membership brought this concern to me last month that the rehabilitated historic tax credit was set to lapse at the end of 2022, and asking if we would consider urging the legislature to extend that. And before he jumps in, I just wanted to talk about quickly what this does in our community. Every $1 of a net tax credit generates $75 in direct investment and $139 in overall economic activity. Developers, homeowners are using this historic tax credit. Mom and pop operations are investing in local businesses and first-time in home ownership in relatively small deals. Most 83% of the completed projects spent $1 million or less in rehabilitation expenditures. And I just think that's the context of these. What Historic Macon has done with these tax credits and people that are using them has spurred growth in this community, and we just are. That's the impetus behind this. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Clark, and thank you all again for considering this resolution this morning. On the face of this, it may seem like a very niche issue. You know, a lot of people don't talk about historic tax credits around the dinner table, but I can tell you that this tax credit in the state affects every one of us in the county and in Macon. And so the easiest way to look at this is if you walk downtown in Macon, you can see the success of the tax credits. None of these deals downtown would have happened but for the state historic tax credits and the federal tax credits. In a lot of ways, the Georgia state tax credit leverages those federal credits to bring even more money into the community. The other trick to this is that neighboring states to Georgia have favorable tax credits, and so our concern is that developers, investors will see those credits in other states and take their developments elsewhere. But the cool thing in Macon is that it is not just downtown. It's not just projects like the Hotel 45. It's projects like A.L. Miller. It's projects like Pearl Stevens. It's neighborhoods. Every one of the historic rehabbed homes in Bells Hill that Historic Macon has done utilizes these historic tax credits. And that passes on to those home buyers, making their mortgages affordable and making people want to do these projects and do these deals. The other key perspective for us locally is the property tax digest. With these tax credit projects, you are investing incredible amounts of money in the community, which directly affects the property values, which we see rising across the county. And so we're asking you today to urge our local delegation to support or sponsor the a renewal of the historic tax credits this session. The House bill passed 172 to 2 last session, so we're confident if we can get it through the Senate that it will pass and be renewed for another, hopefully, 5 to 10 years. So thank you for your consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Tillman.
Yeah, A.L. Miller is a disaster and should be taken off and not given tax credit. The place probably needs to be shut down. Housing Authority and this commission need to probably move all those citizens out. I'm sure every commissioner up here, including yourself, have gotten calls about all the moles and everything over there. It's a disaster.
That's news to me,
this would need to probably be, it'd be great to include or add this to the delegation to expand Medicaid extension as well, since we're going to send some stuff to the local delegation to be able to add the Medicaid expansion. Folks all over this city has been asking us to do that, for the state and encouraging folks to do that. So I wonder what we support that as well on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tillman. Did you have a question?
No, it was
Any additional information from Mr. Garlington? I do think this is a worthy project. We intend to make sure we carry that forth with our local delegation. I do think there's a support for that. I know Senator Lucas would be an advocate for that and support that. So we're looking forward to great things to continue happening. And I do know that there's some issues going on at Miller. We received a couple of calls ourselves, and we have sent code enforcement over there to do what they need to do to make sure that people are held accountable, and we've been in contact with Macon Housing Authority as well. So we'll continue to monitor that. We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to the consent agenda. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you all.
The county road system, item 10A is a resolution designating .046 acres of Oak Haven Park as part of the county road system. Attorney McNeil, would you mind coming forward? Most of you are well familiar with this area over there, and we had a little park there, and also a huge water tower that many of you may have gotten questions about because it's enormous there. And this is part and parcel of that neighborhood mitigation and area there. So, Attorney McNeil, if you give the commissioners the legal part of this and why we're doing this.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. So there's a street there, Oak Haven Road, which dead ends right next to Oak Haven Park, and then this is behind the former Kroger on Pianono, and then there's a street that goes alongside the park called Maley Avenue, and the dead end to Oak Haven Road and Maley Avenue, which runs perpendicular, is separated by about 40 feet of grass, and so the residents there have requested that we convert that into a one-way drive-through and connect it to Maley Avenue. And so the commission agreed to do that last September. We entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the Water Authority to do that. This resolution before you now is just to take that 40 feet once we pave it and add it to the official road map for the county. And that's something that by state law has to be done by resolution, and so it just makes it an official road of the county.
Thank you, Attorney McNeil. Commissioner Howell?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that serving on the Water Authority too, this is a very small part of a huge project that the Water Authority is doing over in that neighborhood that has been done in coordination with the citizens over there, the neighborhood and everything. We're also adding some parking spots over there that would make the park a lot more accessible to the neighbors over there. And just as a side note, we've spent about $100,000 saving an oak tree over there. That was this is a very big project for the Water Authority. Also, there's going to be a raising of the water tank, I believe later this week, I believe Thursday. If anybody's in that area, it's a once in a lifetime thing to watch this water tower be raised and put in place. But anyway, very much in support of this. It's a community effort, and I'm glad to see Macon-Bibb County involved.
Thank you, Commissioner Howell. Thank you as well as Commissioner Wynn for serving on the Water Authority. I know it takes a lot of time to do that, and I know you had a lot of meetings. And I met your new director on yesterday, and looking forward for all of our commissioners meeting him, as well as several new directors that we've got in Macon-Bibb County all together at one time. So we're making arrangements that make sure that happens, to make sure we're constantly involved with our local leadership. Mr. Wynn, you have some follow-up?
Yeah, it's just, I want to follow up to Commissioner Howell, because they say it's a far and few between that we get to see a tank raised like this. So it might be an event to go watch Thursday. I think it's going to take part of the day or most of the day to raise that huge tank.
Okay. Sounds intriguing. Commissioner Clark.
Yeah, I just want to thank the Water Authority for their investments in the park revitalization in this process too. I mean, and thank the leadership for the Viable Neighborhood Association. They've worked really well with the Water Authority, worked really well with the county, and I really think that the park is going to look really great, and just really appreciate y'all reaching out and the Water Authority reaching out to the Viable neighbors. I know that they were very appreciative too, and we're just very excited to see the next phase of this park.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Clark. We do need a motion, so I can get a motion to approve. A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Howell. Any further discussions? Hearing no discussions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item 11 is a change of code, and before you, who's going to handle that? Okay. I got you. We have a change of code. This is an ordinance to amend Article 2 of Chapter 24 of the Code for the purposes of adding Irene's Law as a citable name for the Complete Streets policy. That will be sponsored by Commissioner Lucas and myself. But before that, we'll have our attorneys give us a brief update on what this change means, and I'll ask Commissioner Lucas afterwards to make a few statements before we get a motion in a second.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I'm coming to present the modifications to Article 2 of Chapter 24 of the Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances. This article is currently known as the Complete Streets Policy and was recently passed. However, Commissioner Lucas brought it to our attention about Miss Irene Stubbs, who was tragically killed back in July of this year. And in order to honor her and show Macon County's recommitment to pedestrian safety, we have worked to add Irene's Law as a citable name for the Complete Streets policy, as well as add information referencing other code sections we currently have that inform citizens how to request speed calming devices and street lighting for their neighborhoods.
Thank you. Ms. Lucas, would you like to make that motion?
Yes.
Got a motion
So
by
moved.
Commissioner Lucas. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Bronson. And Ms. Lucas, you got the floor.
Thank you. I thought this was really neat, the way that the legal department, this young lady decided to do this, because we had our idea was a separate standalone ordinance. But including it in a policy that we've already approved, I thought was a unique way of doing it. Several of the commissioners have already said that they want to sign on as co-sponsors, and we welcome your signing on at this time. And what we want to do is to say to the community that for all those who have lost loved ones in these kinds of accidents, you have our sympathy, but more than that, you also have some action that it's put in law that we're going to try and identify, starting with Old Clinton Road, that portion of Old Old Clinton Road to place sidewalks and lighting, additional lighting. And this is just the beginning. Irene's Law means that we are committing ourselves to identifying other places, especially those around schools, where in a lot of areas there are no sidewalks and the lighting is insufficient. So this begins our process of identifying those locations and making sure that we use, now it's unusual, I've never seen it before, that the mayor includes in his budget pedestrian safety as one of the focus areas. And so Pedestrian Safety Review Board is very, very pleased with that. They also have endorsed the concept of complete streets and Irene's Law. So I urge unanimous consent on this, and thank you, legal department, and thank you very much for your work on this.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. We look forward to a groundbreaking or ribbon cutting or whatever you want to call it in the upcoming future when we install those sidewalks there. And we're also looking at lights. I think one thing we passed this policy before, I think most of us realize this is just not passing something that we're never going to follow. So every item, we've instructed our team, every single item that we do, everything we build from here out, we're always going to consider pedestrian safety. We're doing the same thing with the amphitheater project around the Macon Mall. We realize that with the number of foot traffic and things we're going to have in that area, that we have to look at that first. So that's got to be part and parcel of the whole thing. We've had several of our schools that we've been in contact through with our Bibb County education system. They have several areas, particularly around Central High School, that they have really no access to existing areas that they have now to walk, and they must sometimes navigate onto the roadway, which is not a safe. We also have our cameras will be online soon in those school districts where we have the speed light cameras there. They're in the final stage and process there. The signs are beginning to be constructed now, and the machines will be put in the very near future, so we can start those cameras there to make it more safe for our students. So I look forward to the whole body continuing to work together, because we've lost a lot of people for pedestrian incidents last year. I would personally like to go on record of thanking the Pedestrian Safety Review Board. It's one of those boards that has been very solid. When you go to those meetings, a lot of people show up. There's a lot of interest there. We certainly going to be adding something to our budget this year and asking for recommendations for them for some capital improvements, because this is what they're due. So I appreciate when a board works properly and functions and people are engaged, and we never have a problem reaching a quorum with that board. So all those involved, that we certainly appreciate your leadership, and we'll be bringing some recommendations to you in 2 meetings from now where we ask you to reappoint some members, and we have some new members coming on that board. So we do have a motion and second. If there's no further discussion on this particular item on Irene's Law, we will take a vote. So all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Attorney McNeil, you're going to speak on this. We did have an item that we had to add to the agenda concerning qualifying fees for civil court judge, Macon Water Authority, and Board of Education. We have elections this year. We have approved the maps. We sent those up there. But as part of the process, we must go through this process, and it has to be done in January. So we wanted to go ahead and get that out. This is a resolution establishing and fixing the qualifying fees for each elected county office to be filled in the upcoming 2022 Macon-Bibb County nonpartisan general elections, requesting the public for it to be publicized of said qualifying fees by the Macon-Bibb County Board of Election in the legal order of record. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Got a second by Commissioner Tillman. Attorney McNeil, if you'll tell us what this is.
Yes, sir. So state law requires that our Board of Elections publish this no later than February 1st of each year. And this year we have our state court judges, our civil and magistrate judge. We have 3 seats on the Water Authority Board and 2 seats on the Board of Education that are all up for nonpartisan election. And so this sets out what the salary was last year for all of those positions, and then the qualifying fee by state law is 3% of that salary, and so it spells that out as well for everybody. But state statute requires that this commission approve those fees before the Board of Elections can publish them, so that's why we're here today.
Thank you, Attorney McNeil. Any questions for our attorney? We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. I do not believe we have a need to go into executive session, but I do want to remind everyone, if you watched the press conference we had just a couple of days ago, we do have free COVID testing in Macon-Bibb County for all residents and non-residents of Macon-Bibb County. The two locations are the Macon Mall, 8 to 1 Monday through Friday, and 8 to 1 on Saturday. Also, the old health department located on 171 Emory Highway. We have testing there, the same hours, 8 to 1 Monday through Friday, and then also on 8 to 5 Monday through Friday on both locations, and 8 to 1 on Saturday. So they're open all day during the week and for a half a day on the weekend. We've had a lot of participation there in just a few short days that we have been open there. This is a valuable service. You can get both the rapid test and the other tests done. It's been a very smooth process, knock on wood, right now, but all across the United States, people are struggling to get tests, whether it's waiting hours and hours in line or perhaps not having them available, and the home kits haven't arrived anywhere yet, and you can't find them anywhere. So this is a valuable services that's been provided in conjunction with Central Georgia Technical College and other doctors as well, to provide the service free of charge to every single individual. You can register on our website, maconbibbcounty.us. It has a banner there with all the information available for you and answer any questions that you may have. If you can't register online, they will register you at the site. Again, make sure that you continue to exercise your social distances, masks were required, and get vaccinated and every booster that they offer you. So having said that, I look forward to meeting with you next Tuesday, and this meeting is hereby adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Lucas, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. On last week, we meaning the Martin Luther King Commission, had a wreath laying ceremony to kick off the 2022 series of activities to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and also Rosa Parks. It was held in Rosa Parks Square, and we want to thank all of those who attended. There are a number of events that have already been put in place. We realize that people want to be safe. We realize that COVID is no joke. It's not playing. It's not playing. If you think it is, just, check the stats. It's not playing. So we want to make sure that we have activities in honor of Dr. King, but we want to make sure that people feel safe at those events as well. One event that's coming up on Sunday the 16th is an oratorical contest, which has been held the last 3 or 4 years. Ms. Dominique Whisby in Parks and Rec is the coordinator of the oratorical contest, and those students who previously have made speeches have been just fantastic. And the winners of that contest are usually invited to the commission meeting to present their winning essays or speeches. So we invite all commissioners and all members of the ML King Commission to be in attendance to support our youth on the 16th at the oratorical contest. And that's going to be held, I believe, at 2 at the Senior Citizen Center in Carolyn Creighton Park. On the 17th, which is the actual federal holiday designated in honor of Dr. King, at 8:30, the Tubman Museum is hosting a breakfast. They've modified the breakfast. They have had it for a long, long time. It used to be held at St. Peter Claver. This year, it will be modified to a sort of a drive-through kind of activity. So at 8:30, citizens are invited to come to the Tubman Museum for that breakfast in honor of Dr. King. Then at 10 o'clock, out in our own Rosa Parks Square, we will have the ML King celebration. We want to thank Dr. Ficklin of the mayor's staff, who has worked so well with us in helping us to put all the pieces together for this celebration. For those who wish to keep up with all of the events throughout the year that are in keeping with the life and works of Dr. King, all you need to do is to go to Macon-Bibb.us, and you can see a monthly list of all of the events. We say on the King board that we don't celebrate Dr. King twice a year, on the day of his birth and the day of his assassination. We celebrate Dr. King 365, and we want to have activities that all of our citizens want to be involved in, and we need to continue teaching our children that Dr. King set an example that's worthy of emulation. So we encourage everybody to attend. All commissioners are asked to be there and will be recognized at all of the events, and we'll see you at as many of them as you can attend to recognize the life and works of Dr. King. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Lucas, I apologize. I did have a note that, even though it wasn't on the agenda, that you'll be saying that because you didn't have your light on. And I apologize, Commissioner Tillman. I sometimes find myself looking in the right direction instead of the left direction over here where you are. So I apologize for missing your light, but you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did want to just say that we're going to be working on a couple of things as it relates to crime. I did want to put this on the agenda. There was a recent news issue, an article concerning crime, where commissioners, the mayor, the sheriff department was solely given the blame by the mayor. And crime are criminals' faults, you know, and I don't think the commission, the past mayor, sheriff are considered criminals. Criminals commit crimes. And so when you're talking about the two commissioners that's only been here 8 years, you're talking about myself and Commissioner Jones. When you Pacific like that, every other commissioner has been here either 1 year or well over 15 years. And so I'll be addressing it with the media for those that have continued to call and in response to it, because I think it's very important that we all continue to address the crime issue and work together on it, but to realize that it's not nobody's fault but criminals that commit heinous crimes, and we all have to take some responsibility for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tillman, and just to be clear, as you knew I would, you can't take a soundbite and think it's the gospel, number one. Number two, what I said and what I will say again is that no one person is to blame. We're not blaming any commissioners that's been here 8 to 10 years for the homicide rate going from 17 to 53, and we're certainly not going to blame a mayor and new commissioners that's been here less than 1 year, or the sheriff. And as the sheriff has constantly told me, the buck stops with him. We realize that we're all in this together, and I told them specifically in that interview with a witness present that no one is to blame, that we all must work together, and we will continue to do that. So, Commissioner Wynn, you got the floor.
Yeah, just a quick question. This commission meeting schedule starts in February?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Well, we won't be here fourth Tuesday of this month.
That's what I'm saying. We were a week late getting started.
That's right.
So.
Thank you, Mr. Wynn. Now this meeting is hereby adjourned.